In April, Xu Xiaodong, an MMA teacher on a personal quest to expose fake martial arts in China.
There's nothing like watching a mixed martial arts fighter take down a so-called kung fu master with moves that are more hype than skill. Armed with real technique and years of training, these fighters cut through the nonsense, exposing the frauds who rely on flashy stunts and empty talk. It's the ultimate mix of comedy and justice. Watching a genuine warrior bring some truth to the dojo. Before we get into how a man didn't realize that his opponent was the most powerful kung fu master, let's take a lot of similar cases of hilarity. Number 20. The master who would not touch. Kicking things off, we meet a master who took delusion to a new level. Enter Master Yanagi Ryukin, a man who believed he had crafted a martial arts style so powerful that he could dodge any hit and win fights without laying a single finger on his opponent. Sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, right? Well, the real world had a different plan for him, and it did not involve magic. There is a hilariously painful video out there where you can watch Ryukin defeating his own students, who dramatically throw themselves to the ground as if struck by some invisible force. But here is where things get interesting. Ryukin issued a $5,000 challenge to anyone who could knock him out. This time, Iwakura, a trained mixed martial arts fighter, took him up on it. The result? Let us just say that Iwakura proved that Ryukin could indeed be hit, and he hit him hard. This no-touch master was knocked down several pegs, and the internet watched with glee. There were already doubts that Ryukin was simply faking it for the internet. His videos date back to 2006, a time when it was next to impossible to verify bizarre claims flying online. Ryukin was habitual of challenging the best of fighters, but we rarely get to know if he could actually pack a punch, until videos of him losing to legends like Iwakura made their way to YouTube. In this video, you can see Ryukin getting thrashed by the legendary fighter, and as you'll see, the so-called master would not be able to survive a series of punches and kicks to his face. He concedes pretty easily, and it's obvious he is struggling to hold his weight throughout the match. Turns out Ryukin only has hands when it comes to fighting his young students or faking it for the internet. This guy is a total scam. What he didn't realize was that Iwakura has the best mixed martial arts origin story, and well, he would have sent him home packing any other day. In the early 1990s, Iwakura trained at the Midori Boxing Gym, alongside fighters like Satoshi Ida, who would later become the World Boxing Association Super Flyweight Champion. During this time, similar to what the early Ultimate Fighting Championship events revealed, people were eager to discover which skills held up in real combat situations. In his mid-20s, Iwakura decided to challenge Aikido legend Gozo Shioda, who was over 70 years old. Confident in his boxing skills, Iwakura thought they would be enough to overcome the traditional martial artist. But when he attempted to punch Shioda, he found himself thrown to the ground. The elderly Aikido master had used Iwakura's forward momentum against him, dislocating his left shoulder in the process. This experience led Iwakura to reluctantly acknowledge that traditional martial arts indeed hold effective combat techniques. Number 19. Xu Xiaodong's Crusade against fake martial arts. Next, meet Xu Xiaodong, the mixed martial arts fighter on a mission to take down every fake master he can find. Thanks to internet fame, Xu is kind of a martial arts celebrity, so every fake master wants to fight him, only to realize that Xu is one of those most powerful kung fu masters. Xu's journey isn't about personal fame. He's out to reveal fraudulent claims in the martial arts world. His viral videos showcase his encounters with masters from traditional arts like Tai Chi and Wing Chun, disciplines with rich histories but often exaggerated legends. In these bouts, Shu dismantled the so-called masters in seconds. His actions sparked heated debates online, with some fans arguing he's tarnishing martial arts legacies, while others praise him for pulling back the curtain on frauds. To be fair, martial arts legends like Bruce Lee, who started with Wing Chun, proved the real power of the traditional arts. But Shu's mission reminds us that not every master claiming to channel ancient powers is worth believing. Number 18. The Shaolin monk who was not. Next, we have a story that shows just how easily some people try to imitate true martial arts culture. Shaolin monks have a rich history, and their image is iconic. Yet it is shockingly easy for people to pretend to be Shaolin masters. This incident involves a supposed Shaolin monk who decided to make his debut not in a monastery but at a shopping mall, dressed in Shaolin robes, challenging an experienced mixed martial arts fighter. The fake monk boasted that he would use the legendary praying mantis technique, a move often seen in movies like Kung Fu Panda. The result, however, was anything but legendary. The mixed martial arts fighter effortlessly dodged the monk's unconvincing strikes, making his moves look more comical than threatening. In the end, the fighter's skill easily overpowered the fake monk, who left the mall with his mystical powers utterly shattered. Just wearing the robes does not make you a monk, and this matchup proved it. It is obvious that the mixed martial arts fighter knew he was against a fake Shaolin, but it seems like the audience had paid for the sheer entertainment, so he kept going. The audience in question enjoyed it thoroughly, though. Not only did they get to witness a fighting masterclass, but seeing the fake Shaolin jumping around in the ring like a clown must have been very entertaining. The mixed martial arts fighter landed a very decisive punch on the so-called Shaolin at the end of this debacle, and well, there was no going back from there. The fake Shaolin didn't have much in him to stand up and start fighting again. So, he gave up, and the match clearly went to the person who knew what he was doing in the ring. The popular footage became viral on the internet when a popular mixed martial arts commentator on YouTube acquired it from a fan in China. According to the commentator, it is common for fake Shaolin masters to appear out of nowhere in China, but of course, they hardly hold their ground. Number 17. Vietnam's ultimate fake master. Alright, you don't have to be familiar with mixed martial arts to recognize how this guy is simply scamming his students and the internet. This fake master from Vietnam brings fake to a level that almost seems deliberate. His theatrics are obvious, his stunts are painfully staged, and yet he genuinely expected people to believe he was a skilled martial artist. From exaggerated poses to laughable feats, he was barely hiding the fact that he was all show, no substance. Unsurprisingly, no one on the internet was fooled. So either his students are paid actors, or somehow this guy has convinced everyone that he can actually throw a punch. Look at him trying to defeat 12 guys with a single arm, but you can notice that his students are only throwing themselves back. Pretty sure their teacher doesn't pack a punch. Believe it or not, some Vietnamese locals claim that this so-called master is actually legit and runs his training classes in the country. Yet he always declines to fight publicly, claiming that he wants to focus on training his students. Not too long ago, a Canadian fighter had traveled all the way to Vietnam to challenge this guy to a fair and square fight. But as you can imagine, the master was a no-show, exposed. Just like the other so-called Kung Fu master on our list. Number 16. Mars Internet Expose. 68-year-old Tai Chi master Ma Baoguo aimed to defend the legacy of Chinese martial arts, but ended up becoming a source of widespread ridicule. In 2017, Ma made bold claims, stating that he could defeat opponents twice his size with just one finger. Ma entered the ring against an amateur kickboxing trainer who was 18 years younger. The match, broadcast online, allowed both fighters to use any style they preferred. It was a disaster for Ma. Within 4 seconds, he was knocked down. Over the next 15 seconds, he went down twice more. When the final strike landed, he stayed on the ground for over a minute, appearing unconscious. Ma later attributed his defeat to being unfamiliar with the fight's rules. The internet was quick to turn Ma's loss into a viral sensation. Videos of the fight were widely shared, including re-edits adding humorous effects, such as purple lightning shooting from Ma's fingers during his whiplash strike. On November 15th, Ma announced his retirement, stating the martial arts world had become too messy. However, shortly after, he returned, claiming he may have been drugged before the fight. Ma's web of lies is a growing trend of traditional kung fu masters struggling in modern matches, sparking concern among Chinese authorities. With martial arts being a cherished part of China's cultural heritage, or cancel such events to protect its image. Up next, another haughty master gets exposed for his lies. Number 15. Baji versus Kung Fu. This was one for the books. A self-proclaimed Kung Fu master in red versus a legit Baji fighter in blue. Right from the bell, things got rough for the guy in red. The Baji fighter wasted no time and threw 2 solid punches straight to his face, leaving our so-called master already wobbling. The Kung Fu guy came out swinging. Literally, he tried all kinds of flashy moves, like a spinning back fist and this wild roll on the ground that looked more like a failed gymnastics routine. Meanwhile, the Baji guy stayed calm and focused. Every time the red-suited master turned his back, it was clear who'd actually spent time honing his skills. As the fight dragged on, the Kung Fu guy was really feeling it. His hands were dropping, his defense was shot, and he kept running into punches that were landing with brutal accuracy. He even tried a dramatic spinning move to throw his opponent off, but only managed to make himself an easy target for a flying knee. The referee had to check on him a couple of times to make sure he was still okay. His face was swollen, and it was obvious he'd met his match. Real fighters let their skills do the talking. They don't just show up with a title and expect to dominate. This fight was a serious reality check that if you're going to step into the ring, you'd better be prepared for the real deal. Number 14. Kung Fu Master versus Mixed Martial Arts Fighter. Now, here is a battle that highlights why some martial arts styles are not all about striking. This Kung Fu master decided he was ready to take on a mixed martial arts fighter with professional experience in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. The Kung Fu fighter managed to land a few hits, but as soon as the mixed martial arts fighter, this encounter shows why mixed martial arts practitioners place such importance on defense. With the right skills, they can shut down their opponent's offense and gain full control of the match. Number 13. The Purple Belt Faker. In this one-of-a-kind showdown, a seasoned mixed martial arts fighter found himself up against a guy who boldly claimed to hold a Brazilian Jiu-jitsu purple belt. But things quickly took a turn when it became clear that this purple belt cop didn't exactly have the skills to match his story. It turned out he'd been boasting about a jiu-jitsu background that didn't hold up under real scrutiny. Rather than going straight for an ego takedown, the mixed martial arts fighter kept things calm and lighthearted. Instead of harshly calling him out, he chose to have a genuine conversation. They ended up discussing the basics of jiu-jitsu, with the fighter explaining what really matters in the art. True jiu-jitsu, he explained, is something earned through years of dedication and grit. By the end of their talk, The mixed martial arts fighter even offered the cop a free pass to his gym, inviting him to train in an environment focused on real growth and learning. The cop accepted the offer with humility, admitting he'd never truly trained in jiu-jitsu. With the door now open for him to learn real skills, the interaction ended on a positive note. Number 12. The Satirical Master Ken. Sometimes the best way to deal with frauds is through satire. Master Ken, a real martial artist who grew fed up with fake masters, decided to create a comedic character that pokes fun at their outlandish moves and grandiose claims. As Master Ken, he parodies fake masters with wild techniques and exaggerated self-defense tips, giving viewers a good laugh while subtly teaching them to spot real versus fake. Number 11. Wang Long's Fake Moves. Up next, we have a story of an alleged kung fu extraordinaire who couldn't even master the basic rules. The fight between Muay Thai legend Wakao Banchamek and so-called kung fu master Wang Long quickly turned into a spectacle for all the wrong reasons. From the start, Wang Long looked out of his league. He threw some flashy moves, but they didn't hold up against Wakao's skill and control. Wakao kept sweeping him off his feet, and it became clear Wang Long wasn't prepared for this level of competition. Things got weird when Wang Long landed several illegal low blows, frustrating Wakao. But instead of focusing on the fight, Wang Long started complaining when Wakao landed a perfectly legal knee. He argued with officials, claiming the move broke the rules, even though they'd been explained beforehand. It felt like Wang Long was just making excuses. The crowd wasn't buying it. They turned on Wang Long as he spent more time arguing than fighting. When the match was ruled a no contest, it left everyone wondering if Wang Long was ever a real kung fu master or just putting on a show. Wakao's professionalism only made Wang Long's antics look worse. And if you think this amateur display was hilarious, the next story will leave you surprised. Number 10. The rookie boxer versus the 30-year veteran. In a showdown that felt straight out of a martial arts flick, a kung fu master with over 30 years of experience went toe-to-toe with Su Chaofan, a young boxer with just 8 months of training. Things didn't go quite as the kung fu master expected. As the fight kicked off, the master tried some traditional blocks and threw in a few moves. But Su wasn't messing around. He landed a quick, clean punch right to the master's face. Su's height gave him an extra edge in the ring. He had a clear reach advantage over the master. But honestly, it wasn't just about height. This fight was a real eye-opener on how even a bit of modern boxing can pack a punch against traditional martial arts. Number 9. The Hollywood Effect. In another memorable matchup, a kung fu practitioner decided to mimic his favorite movie techniques, attempting flashy moves straight out of Hollywood scenes against a trained mixed martial arts fighter. Reality hit hard when his movie-inspired moves did absolutely nothing, as the mixed martial arts fighter took him down without breaking a sweat. That what works on the big screen does not work in a real ring. Number 8. The Kung Fu Master gets humbled. So here's the epic backstory of this not-so-epic showdown. This Kung Fu Master got all riled up because Morrison Butler, a mixed martial arts fighter, nothing bruises a traditional martial artist's ego quite like unsolicited advice, especially if it comes from someone outside their style. The Kung Fu Master marched into Butler's mixed martial arts gym, determined to put him in his place. Well, it wasn't exactly the showdown the Master envisioned. Butler, despite being significantly smaller than the Kung Fu Master, landing some sharp kicks that quickly had the Master reeling. Then Butler managed a clean takedown, taking full control and finishing with a series of strikes that left no room for argument. But age and experience aside, he learned the hard way that sometimes a little humility and a reality check go a long way in the fight world. Number 7. A former football star meets martial arts reality. The setup for this martial arts showdown sounds like it came straight from an action flick. It starts with Wayne Hunter, a former East Carolina University football player in his mid-20s, who had to hang up his cleats due to injuries. With an athletic pedigree, he's the great-nephew of baseball legend Jim "Catfish" Hunter. Wayne wasn't ready to quit sports. He found a new passion in martial arts, under an instructor who had created his own system of kung fu, dubbed Bak Mei, or white eyebrow. As Hunter told the Daily Advance, his instructor's system wasn't just any kung fu, it was designed for the streets, taking what was supposedly the most effective moves from kung fu and karate and blending them into one. And in a bold move, the kung fu instructor believed ground fighting wasn't necessary, entering Hunter into mixed martial arts matches to prove his point. Wayne actually managed to win his first fight, but got choked out in the second. His third match was with Derek Lipoli, and let's just say things got interesting. Hunter ended up in the bottom mount, with Lipoli pinning him down and clearly didn't know how to escape. As he lay there, arm loosely around Lipoli's head, his kung fu coach began yelling instructions that sounded straight out of an old martial arts movie, repeatedly telling him to choke him out. Now, choking an opponent from the bottom mount is possible, but it's a move that only a master like Alexei Oleinik has pulled off. Expecting a beginner to do it was borderline comedic. Meanwhile, Morrison Butler, the well-regarded director of the Knuckle Up Gym, could be heard in the background, gently pointing out that there was no choke in place and it simply wasn't going to happen. When the fight finally wrapped up, the kung fu coach reportedly lost his cool, creating a chaotic, almost tragic scene of misplaced martial arts pride. Number 6. Tai Chi versus mixed martial arts. Alright, picture this: a Tai Chi master, with all his serene, flowing movements, steps into the ring with a mixed martial arts fighter. Now, Tai Chi is an ancient art famous for its graceful moves and inner calm. It's like the yoga of martial arts, more about balance and health than hard-hitting combat. People love it for stress relief and peace of mind, but let's just say it's not exactly designed for getting punched in the face. So here's this Tai Chi master, ready to test his skills in a real fight. And across from him stands a mixed martial arts fighter who's trained to throw fast, powerful punches. When the bell rings, the mixed martial arts fighter wastes no time. He comes in hot, unleashing a brutal combo of punches that's almost too quick to follow. Before anyone knows it, the Tai Chi master is on the floor, stunned by the impact. The mixed martial arts fighter steps back, giving him a moment, actually waiting to see if he can stand up and continue. But it's clear he's in a world of pain. The referee even has to step in to help him up because he's struggling just to stay on his feet. This moment drove home that while Tai Chi's gentle moves are great for relaxation, they're no match for the all-out intensity of mixed martial arts. Real fights need real adaptability and the grit you only get from sparring and training under pressure, which is the essence of mixed martial arts. At the end of the spar, the Tai Chi master was in no condition to walk by himself, so he had to call his associates to lift him from the ring as the real fighter waited to knock down a worthy opponent. Number 5. The infamous no-touch master. This story reads like a comic book. A martial arts master who claimed he could defend himself without touching his opponent. That's right, he boasted about creating an invisible energy shield that could deflect any punch. To prove it, he invited Alex Lee, an experienced martial artist, to test him. The no-touch master smirked as he sidestepped Lee's first slow-motion punch. But when he took things too far by slapping Lee, Lee fired back with a barrage of real punches, none of which the master's energy shield could block. This showdown became legendary online for exposing one of the strangest and least effective martial arts claims out there. Number 4. The Karate Flop. Moving on, we encounter a battle that highlights an important reality about training and mindset. Now, karate is absolutely a respected martial art, and millions learn it for real self-defense. However, it is also a martial art that many approach with the belief that a few lessons will have them winning fights with ease. In contrast, mixed martial arts require years of intense training, sparring with opponents of equal or higher skill, and constant practice on how to defend and adapt to different martial arts techniques. In this face-off, a karate black belt went up against a mixed martial arts fighter, and the mixed martial arts practitioner absolutely dominated. While the karate fighter landed a few kicks and punches, the mixed martial artist's mastery of strikes and grapples left him completely overwhelmed. Number 3. The Green Cloud Kung Fu. Master gets checked. Gus Caparros, who taught a style called Green Cloud Kung Fu, claimed to be a top martial artist with experience in street fights and Muay Thai. But when challenged by a fighter in his own dojo, his skills were put under the microscope. Spoiler alert, Gus didn't last long, and the actual master overseeing the session quickly stepped in to end things. This encounter shows the risk of embellishing achievements in the martial arts world. When challenged, real skill stands out, and Gus's reputation came tumbling down in front of his own students. It's a lesson in humility for anyone claiming master status. Number 2. The one-armed boxer defeats a Wing Chun master. Alright, here's the lowdown on one of the wildest fights you'll hear about: a one-armed boxer versus a so-called Wing Chun master. If that doesn't sound like something straight out of an action movie, nothing does. Meet Wayne Hunter, the guy in his 20s, a boxer who, after an accident, could only use his left arm. And then there's his opponent, Yu Changhua, a third-generation Wing Chun guy who claims direct lineage from Ip Man himself. Yu was so confident in his skills that he made a big fuss about not wanting to fight in a ring, saying it would limit his Wing Chun moves. So, they agreed to square off on a flat, outdoor surface, which Yu thought would give him an edge. Spoiler, it didn't. The match starts, and Hunter immediately goes to work, landing sharp jabs and uppercuts with just his left hand. And despite the one-arm situation, his punches are on point. Meanwhile, the Wing Chun master's moves? Not so impressive. He throws these weak-looking chops and kicks, but they're slow and don't even faze Hunter. At one point, Yu's even looking down at his own feet, like he's trying to figure out where it all went wrong. By the end of the first round, Yu's corner crew is practically throwing water on him to keep him from dropping. And Hunter? He's just chilling, keeping his unused arm behind his back like it's no big deal. They go into another round, but Yu is already beaten. Hunter's taking him apart with clean punches while Yu's flailing around, totally out of his depth. In the end, Hunter walks away the clear winner, with Yu looking like he just got a harsh reality check. Later, Yu threw out all kinds of excuses for his performance, but the one-armed boxer had already proven his point. Sometimes, skill trumps fancy titles and self-proclaimed master status. Number 1. Tai Chi's gentle moves meet the brutality of Muay Thai. Tai Chi and Muay Thai could not be more different. Where Tai Chi is slow and flowing, Muay Thai is aggressive and unforgiving, utilizing elbows, knees, and shins in a brutal ballet of strikes. So when a Tai Chi master stepped into the ring with a Muay Thai fighter, the result was predictable, but still shocking. A swift kick to the head put the Tai Chi master out. This matchup was a reminder that while Tai Chi has its own valuable qualities, it's no match for high-impact fighting arts. Muay Thai fighters train for combat, conditioning their bodies to withstand and deliver intense blows, while Tai Chi emphasizes meditative practice over the fast-paced brutality of a real fight. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.